Welcome to the world's fastest growing podcast that interviews random Todds and asks them unpredictable questions in a series of wacky segments.
Here at the Toddcast, we believe every Todd has a story, and we want to hear it. All right, welcome in everybody to another episode of the Toddcast. Today, I'd like to welcome in just some dude from St. Louis, Todd Munson. Check him out on Instagram at @TAMuzzle. Yeah, just some dude from St. Louis. That was pulled directly from the old IG. I hope that works.
It works for me. I enjoy it. I was really excited when I got the notification that the Toddcast is following you. I'm like, wait, what is this?
It's a couple of weirdos.
It's a monumental point in a lot of people's lives. So congrats on that.
But you know what? I'm into it because I absolutely love my name. I always have ever since I was a kid. So I was excited to see that there were, people out there who were interested in other Todds, especially considering the fact that neither of you knew any other Todds, which is it's kind of interesting, but also fun because I myself, having been Todd for 34 years, I can tell you for sure that I've probably only met or known maybe 4 other Todds. And like when I say met, I'm talking like very briefly. So I guess this could possibly be my opener, but like I used to work at the Gateway Arch here in St. Louis. And so of course you see people from all across the world and everything like that. So I'm sure I've met a number of Todds in that capacity, selling them stuff, but that was like, it was literally transactional and that was it. And I only knew their name because of the credit card or something, but like that, it would be that quick, but my boyfriend is the only one. He's the only Todd that I've ever actually known. Ever.
Oh, wow.
So, and I went to school with a couple Todds, but I didn't actually know them. It's like I either met them because we rode the same bus, or I only knew that they were even in my school because of a yearbook. And I'm like, oh, okay, so I wasn't the only one.
Well, yeah, we're happy to give the Todds of the world a voice, and let's hear a little bit more about this Todd right here, Todd Munson.
Once upon a Todd.
All right, once upon a Todd, this is a time for you to basically tell us, who are you and what do you want the listeners to know about you, Todd?
Todd Munson. I am 34 years old from St. Louis, born and raised up until the age of 12 and moved to Orlando, Florida. Stayed there for 7 years and brought my happy self back because I hated every second of living in that terrible state. But,
yes, good old Florida.
Yeah, me and Florida man go way back. So I mean, I guess the thing that I guess I would want people to know, I guess about me specifically, is that I wouldn't say necessarily that I am a typical Todd as far as what you would see like in a film. So in case any of the listeners out here don't know, the Todd is it comes from England and it means the fox or fox-like, which is the reason why you will see in a lot of like 80s and 90s films, if there is a character named Todd, he's usually like a villain, dumb jock villain or something like that. But I am a very, very nice person. I promise you. And I'm also probably one of the younger Todds, younger-ish, I guess you could say. I think the majority of the Todds that you'll meet, at least doing this podcast, most likely will probably be in their 40s and 50s. The name Todd was very popular in the 70s. That's why you would hear the name a lot more in the 80s. Todds in the 80s were most likely teenagers and adults by the time they got into the 90s. I grew up in the 90s. I was 4 when 1990 started. So I would kind of be on the younger spectrum of Todds. Yes. There's only, I also checked this factoid recently. There's only something like 91,500 Todds in the United States.
Oh,
so that's not very many when you consider such common names like Michael or Thomas or or things like that. So I mean, we're a bit of a rarity, but I think I kind of like that. I like being a rarity in that sense. Like I said before, I've always been one of the only Todds that I've ever known, and most people that I do know, they were never related to another Todd, or if they were, it was like a very distant relative who they never met. And if there was another Todd in their life, it wasn't like they knew them personally. It's like they, knew them from around the way, but never really spoke to them. I've always been like the only Todd friend that anyone has ever had. So that's been exciting.
Yeah.
You weren't the Todd villain.
Yes. No, that's cool though. I mean,
definitely not.
Like you said, there's a small amount, and you locked another Todd down for so far.
Yes, and it's been great. It's been wonderful. He's a wonderful guy. Also, like I said before, a lot of them that you'll meet are usually going to be in their 40s or 50s. He just turned 49 last weekend. So yeah, nice. He'll probably be angry at me for putting that out there into the universe, but who cares?
The people need to know.
Yes, the Todds need to know.
Yes. So how do y'all, I guess, deal with the "Hey Todd" when both of y'all are together, like out in public? Is it a both turnaround type of situation, or?
In the very beginning, it was, yes. Now we have come up with a little bit of a system. At first, he would be Todd 1 and Todd 2. So like in his friend circle, people would call him Todd 1 since they knew him first. And then I was Todd 2.
Oh, okay.
But like sense. Todd 2 was still really confusing because I'm like, wait, which one are they talking to? Because you kind of forget for a second. But then I told them that they can, call me Dino and I will respond to that. And that comes from Whole Foods. I used to work there. I worked there last year, and
okay,
close, very close, Brad.
Definitely. Whole Foods, Flintstones, same thing.
Yeah, so that came from working there, and I became really close friends with a couple of people that were there, and they just both happened to be Bosnian and actually came from Bosnia, and so we were playing this game one day, and they were, and one of them, her name is Nevena. She was like, okay, so if I were not Bosnian, if I were from the United States, what would my American name be? And I told her that her name would be Nikki. And she disagreed with me at first, but then I went around and asked our entire team, and I was like, "What is she or is she not a Nikki?" And everyone agreed that she was. And then my friend Hodis, and Hodis is Harris, but with one R. I just can't roll my R because I'm just not that person.
Yeah,
I wish I could. So yeah, I decided that he would be Travis, and once more everyone agreed. And so then I asked them what my name would have been if I were from Bosnia, and they told me that Dino was the name that fit my personality the most. So I went by Dino for the rest of the time that I worked there. I even made a name tag for myself that I wore on my last day. So on my last day, I'm ringing out groceries for people, and everyone's like, "Oh, thanks, Dino," and I'm like, "Oh yeah." It's just I kind of forgot for a second. But I began to respond to that name very well. So now whenever we hang out with Todd's friends, they'll call me Dino and they'll call him Todd. So like whenever they say Todd, I know that they're speaking to him. So that is where we no longer have the confusion about who is speaking to who.
That's good.
It's only when there's like a new person in the group who forgets that Dino is the name that I will go by. And that's when it's like, wait, which one of us are you talking to?
Just kick them out of the friend group. Kick them out. We don't need them. Can't follow rules.
Exactly.
That's smart though.
I was just gonna say, that's where having nicknames is really good, and the majority of my life, all of my nicknames revolved around my name. So if it wasn't something that if my nickname didn't come from some sort of weird or funny aspect of my personality or a weird funny backstory, then I was Toddy or Toddy Waddy. I was T-Bop to my brother's dad at one point. So yeah, like I mean, I've been many different versions of Todd. So like that's kind of how that works. And so thankfully, I have this other nickname that would sort of work in this sort of circumstance that I was not looking for. Yeah. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of different nicknames for Todd, and those were like 3 fresh ones that we have yet to hear.
Yeah, I haven't heard.
It's incredible how many nicknames have been derived from the name Todd. It's,
there's
a learning experience for all of us.
And something that I also wonder, especially considering I listen to your podcast and everything like that with the other Todds, like I almost wonder how many of them. Well, I wonder 2 things: how many of them have their name spelled wrong? It's not very common, but it does happen every once in a while. Like I am Todd with 2 D's, not 1. But a lot of times people, play it safe, and on the out chance that they do spell my name wrong, they'll just spell it with 1 D, knowing that they can just add it to the end if they needed to. But I've had that happen multiple times. I've even had friends. I'm like, how long have we been friends and you spelled my name with 1 D? How? But also, it wasn't until I moved to Florida that I came to meet numerous people who I guess they had never heard my name before, which I found shocking. And they would ask me, "So is that short for something?" And I'm like, I don't understand the question. Exactly. So, right, but I did have a friend who I worked with at the Arch, who I remember her saying to me that she thought it might be short for Toddrick. Now, this was before Toddrick Hall, I'm like Toddrick? Like, what kind of name is that? And then Toddrick Hall comes out and he like blows up all big, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's a thing then now.
All right,
I guess that is a name.
I didn't think it was a name either until that. So I was like, all right.
Right. So I mean, I found that to be pretty interesting.
Yeah. Absolutely. We haven't encountered many one D Todds. It's been a lot of 2D.
So I believe that Todd with 1 D was the original spelling, and then somehow another D got added onto it over time. How that happened, I don't know. But I don't know. But like to me, whenever I see Todd with 1 D, it drives me nuts because I just think it looks so incomplete. And maybe because of the fact that I've been wearing this name all this time. But there is a brand out there. I think there's a brand of shoes or clothing or something that it's called Todd's, but it's TODS, which is weird.
I just bought some Toms. That's different.
Oh, those are nice.
How do those feel?
So relatable, right?
Yeah, one letter off.
Very much so.
So, like you said, it originated TOD, and it kind of evolved into TODD. Do you think it's ever going to become TODDD? Ooh. Do you think we'll ever get to 3D, Todd?
God, no, I would hope not.
3-dimensional.
I mean, that would be awful. Like, first of all, like everyone knows for days. Could you imagine like having to spell your name out for someone just for like going into a hospital and getting something like I'm sorry, can you I have 3Ds. Like, I mean, could you like that would just be awful.
It's like, are you just stuttering when you spell your name like TODD? And then like 850 years from now, there's 7 Ds at the end of Todd. It just becomes ridiculous. There's one person named Todd.
Oh, so here's I'm sorry, I know this is like so off topic, but it's still on topic. But as I told you,
we have no topics.
So Todd is it's English, and it means the fox or fox-like. However, this is really fun. Zorro means the exact same thing. So we're also the Masked Avengers. So there's that. Just wanting to throw that little factual tidbit out there.
Oh, nice. So Todd equals Zorro.
Yes,
I like that. Congrats.
Thank you. Todd trivia for days here.
Yeah,
Exactly.
for
I
days.
told you, I'm very, very passionate about my name. Very, very much so.
We can tell you are well versed. You are a certified Todd.
Yes. Yes, I am. I would like to think of myself as such. And I think part of that just comes from having grown up and being the only person that anyone really knew with my name. And my name was not something that my parents had, always wanted to name their kid. That was not something that was very much planned. It literally just popped in my mother's head at work. She had come up with so many different names. My father would not agree. And she was sitting at work and it just boom, it popped in her head. She went home with it. And my dad was like, yeah, okay, cool. And so that became my name. And so then that's kind of how it happened. But then, it began like that, carrying this name for so long, it has come with a myriad of questions and it was always like the lead up to so many different things, so like a lot of people, they feel like Todd is, a white person's name. And here I am, a black guy. And they're like, how did that happen? And I'm like, it just did. And it fits. So just take it as you will, so, and then of course that always leads into so many other questions about my identity and everything. And it's just like, all right, well, we'll start with the name and just kind of go from there. But ultimately it ends with, it's me, and I love who I am. And I hope that you do too.
That's the way to be. It almost feels like you're a step above all of us. And I starting to wonder, how would I feel if Todd was one of us?
What if Todd was one of us?
Yeah, so I mean, you've
on a bus.
Oh no, we definitely did not steal any part of the melody to that song at all. No, but it seems like you're well versed in the I guess the name of Todd. So let's see if you're well versed in helping us kind of in scenarios. This one's a tough one. So we're gonna need some solid advice here. All right. So this one comes in from a member of the Todd squad. All right.
Oh, hey,
ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. I was at the park the other day where I saw a flock of ducks swimming. My boss has a wooden duck on his desk, so I figured I'd snap a picture of one and share to hopefully have something to bond with him over. I took the picture and hit send. I looked at my phone and saw that autocorrect had made a terrible mistake. I thought I texted, "Look at this duck." However, autocorrect changed the U in duck to an I. I just never responded, and neither did he. How do I face him on Monday? Help this person, Todd.
What'd you do?
What do you do?
Oh God. Okay, so being perfectly honest, when it comes to almost every place that I have ever worked, every boss that I have has known my sense of humor, which can be crude at times, and they also know just the kind of person that I am in general. And so I think that they would kind of either expect that to come through, or they wouldn't expect it and be like, yo, what was up with that text? And I'd be like,
what's
dude,
up with that?
So if it were me, especially considering the fact that you are off the clock when you are sending this text over, and also let's consider the fact that like this is a text, not an email. So if you have your boss's phone number, you're probably cool already. So I would just say I would just say just embrace it and be like, yo, that was meant to be a joke. And you open it up and there's a duck, like, I mean, I say just ride that wave, ride it and just be good.
Yeah. Just gotta accept it.
That is my sage advice.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, or you could just be like, he was just the duck was being a real jerk. He was just being the D word, you know what I mean? Like
exactly. And that's another way they might go into it. Well, he was being a dick.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's gonna be just a rough position though. Like sending an unsolicited duck pic to your boss is, I don't know. I guess it's better than some things, but and claiming it as something else. But like, imagine you were like, say you only have their number for like emergency reasons. Like, oh, I got a flat tire. Let me just give them a call real quick. Let them know I'm gonna be a little late. And this is like, you've never texted him before, but there's a promotion opening up. You're trying to get in, kind of slide in, become friends.
Oh,
first
God,
text you ever sent to him.
Look at this.
Look at this. ... Check this out.
God.
Attachment one image. They don't know because
exactly.
You won't believe the size of this duck.
Okay, well here's a question. What would be worse, sending that as a text to your boss, or sending it in an email and accidentally sending it to the entire office?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, you'd end up in HR would definitely be speaking to you quickly.
Exactly.
Paperwork
unless it's
on the way.
Mifflin.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
They would embrace it. Michael Scott would have sent it out himself. So. It's like that picture of Jan he sent out to everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought you were going a different way with that. I thought the picture you were going to send was actually an accidental other picture, but yeah, ducks be crazy these days, I hear. Ducks be crazy.
I don't know. I think it's more the geese that have the bad reputation for being just absolutely mean. I mean, I've seen countless videos of people being attacked by geese, and it's like, I've heard. Yeah. I've never had a problem with them, but I'm a Todd, so.
Yeah, they seem to. They're every spring, or what is it? Spring, or I guess whenever they start making eggs out of their body. They have to. They send out. Our work sends out an email to everybody on goose encountering and safety.
It's a yearly email. It's the best email you'll ever get all year.
Yeah, it's a yearly email, and it gives us tips on how to not get attacked by the geese, and just how defensive they are. And it's
can I get on this email list?
Yo, we'll toss you in there just in case. I mean, you've been doing so well for 34 years. Don't jinx it now. The less you know. Yeah, so I mean that's a great way to handle the unsolicited duck pic. So
let's embrace it.
Yes.
So
just embrace it.
Embrace that, and now embrace this.
It's time to prod Todd.
All right, so welcome to Prod Todd. This is where we ask you a series of just completely random questions, and here's the first one. If you could, would you? That is the question. My notes say, if you could, would you?
Would you?
I mean, if you could. Depends on what it is that I could do. I know that's like
something
not
you
the best
wish you
answer
could
in the
do?
world.
It's all right.
Ooh, okay. What do I wish I could do?
Speak Mandarin.
Well, I guess. Okay, so I guess if there were anything like, okay, so if we were thinking on a practical level, I wish I could sign, like using sign language. Otherwise, going like a more extreme route, I wish that I could either fly or teleport.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
So if you could, you would.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Now, fly or teleport. I'm kind of interested. Like, which one would you rather do? Because I mean, you achieve the same end outcome, but two different ways, right?
Yes. I think that if I had to choose between the two of them, it would be teleportation, just because of the fact that it's more instant, and despite the fact that, being able to fly would be really, cool and fun in a lot of different ways. When you really think about it, it's still going to take you a few hours to get across a couple state lines. You know what I'm saying? So at least like if you could teleport, you just like blink and you're there,
Yeah.
Yeah, but imagine if you're like, imagine the things you could see. You could like fly over the Grand Canyon, fly down in there, like be all cool and do stuff. I guess you could teleport down there as well.
I mean, you could, but I guess there.
You know
would
what?
be
Never mind that.
There's no feeling like, I guess, like with, being able to feel the wind on your skin and your hair in that kind of way without the use of a vehicle of some kind. So at least it would just be your own body that would be producing that. So I mean, I guess in respect to that, then yeah, that would be cool to be able to fly yourself over the Grand Canyon or over Niagara Falls, or really just to see any sort of sights. And I mean, like, you could scale tall buildings essentially. I mean, that would be you could cool just to see. You're limitless. So many different things. So I mean, like, that would be great. Yeah, you really would be.
Yeah. So
all right.
I guess to kind of go on one more would you rather, or kind of question on it, what do you think is more alarming to people? Like, if you could fly, or if you just teleported and showed up places, like, would they be more alarmed by somebody flying or someone just showing up out of nowhere?
Oh, showing up out of nowhere for sure. I mean, like, let's consider the fact that, okay, so just today at work. So I work at a law firm.
Somebody teleported?
No, so we are.
Well, funny you should ask.
Our conference room is right next to our restroom, and when the doors open to the conference room, I mean, I can hear that all the way upstairs. It's so loud. And so one of my colleagues was upstairs, and then the others were in the conference room, and I had gone into the restroom, and when I came out, there was no one around except for in the conference room. But then I see one of my colleagues making copies at the copier, which is like just around the corner from the restroom. And I mean, I jumped because I was like, well, like, how did you get there? Like, you were just in this room. But it turns out they just didn't close the doors all the way. So when she opened it, I couldn't hear it. And so I wasn't expecting her to be there. And I jumped, and she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I didn't know you were there.
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe she could, so she did.
Maybe. Maybe. And so for me, like, I think that people would definitely be more alarmed if you just popped up somewhere. I mean, like, if you are just walking, or let's say you're driving your car, right? And just suddenly there's a person in the road and you have to swerve to get out of the way and possibly injure yourself and other people just to, like, keep from hitting them. Like, that sounds horrible. Alarming,
Well,
or, imagine if they just teleported into your own house.
Yeah. Right. Like, if I was to fly over to someone's house, I need to go through a door. People are going to know what's going on. Now, if I just, like, next thing you know, I'm just sitting next to you on the couch. Yes. That would scare the hell out of me.
Yeah, you're being an auto-corrected duck. Yeah, don't do that. Don't teleport into the road. Don't teleport into people's houses. Use your powers correctly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, I guess we'll keep moving on. Just that was only one question, wasn't it?
Yeah,
we had there was like a question within a question. It was questionception. Yeah. If a song played every time you if a song played every time you entered a room, what song would it be? And this is every time you enter any room, and it's the same song though.
Ooh. Okay. Wait. I might. So there. Hold on. I have to look at my musical playlist because there is a song that.
It better be a banger.
Oh, okay. So there's. Okay, so there is this artist. His name is Lucky Day, and he's a newer artist. He's not really blown up very big yet, but I really like him. I learned about him actually through Instagram, and he is a fantastic artist. He has a beautiful voice, and on his debut album, it's called Painted. He has a song called Late Night. And that song bops. Like it's so great for so many reasons. And what's really interesting is that there are so many other artists out there that I really, really love that have really great music that, like, if I entered a room, it would look great. However, that song for me, it just the way that it sounds like to me, it sounds like what you would hear at like a fashion show almost. Like you could just see someone walking down the runway to this song, at least for me anyway. And I love it for that reason. So I think I would have to choose Late Night by Lucky Day.
Just entering every room just like you're walking down the aisle. Or the catwalk, I guess. What is it called? It's the aisle.
It's
a wedding. In grocery stores. I was thinking of grocery stores.
It is the catwalk or the runway.
Yes.
You could
okay.
You could use
so
but yeah, like runway is also what they use for airplanes too. So that's another thing that you have to really think about. So catwalk.
All these terms just like
that's
the best one. But then you're talking about like
that's America for you.
Catwalks. Yeah. That's a solid jam. I would assume. I'm probably gonna listen to it. I guess.
Jam.
I guess. Yeah. I guess it's Lucky Day. What was the song called again? Paintings.
It's called Late Night. The album is called Painting, or it's called Painted,
close.
but the song is called Late Night. And Lucky and Day is Daye.
Okay. Well, shout out Lucky Day.
Shout out Lucky Day.
Yes.
Yeah. You just got chosen over every song in the universe to be played for the rest of this guy, his existence every time he enters a room.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's big time.
I mean, if you listen to the song, you'll know why. I mean, it's a great song. So
all right.
There it is.
It better be a banger. Don't let us down.
Yeah. So like I said, it sounds like a bit of a jam. So I mean, speaking of jam, what flavor of jelly do you think is on the inside of jellyfish? So what are they composed of? What flavor of jelly's in there, you know? Because that's what they're made of, right?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, no. Technically, jellyfish are...
No.
Technically, jellyfish are made up of... they are basically a living brain, essentially. They're not... Okay, so like... As most people know, jellyfish do not have brains, and it's because of the fact that their body is essentially just an entire what is it called?
Bag of jelly.
It's just basically neurons. It's neurons. That's what their body is made up of. It's just a group of neurological cells. So it's not so much that jellyfish don't have brains, is that they are essentially made up of brains. It's like they are a neurological. God, what the words just slipped right out of my head. I can't think of what it's called.
Just
anyway,
went with grape.
they're basically made up of neurons, and so that's kind of how they operate. But if I had to say what they were made from, just based on what they looked like, I think that they would be. It would depend on the jellyfish itself. So there are some jellyfish that shine blue. So I would say that they are made of either blueberry or blackberry jam.
Yummy.
But then there are also some jellyfish that sort of glow orange, but they glow orange almost like a nectarine, not so much an orange. So nectarine jam and blueberry jam. That's what I'm going with.
Vitamin C.
Yes.
Will you join me on trivia nights, Todd?
Yeah, jellyfishologist over here.
I love a good game of trivia. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually I haven't played trivia in a while. But being a group of friends, we used to play at a couple. We used to play at a place called Layla's here in St. Louis. It's a local restaurant. It's really good food, and they would have a trivia night, and so we would play there. And our trivia name was Two Gate a Function. Which is a reference to Mean Girls. And so we were frequent winners. And so trivia night, I'm all for it.
All right. We'll let you know.
Lots of jellyfish related questions, I could assume. This is more opinion based, so you won't be talking about neurons, I don't think. Why do people hate cargo shorts?
I know exactly what this is referencing. I was tagged in that meme more times than I can count. So I think people dislike cargo shorts because of the fact that cargo shorts were never meant to be fashion. Cargo shorts were meant to be functional. They were meant to be,
right.
I think, used for people I think they were mostly used for construction workers or plumbers, anyone who carried a lot of tools on them and everything like that. So they had all this extra cargo for them to carry things. And so they were never necessarily meant to become fashion. But the thing is, they're incredibly comfortable. So that's why people wore them so frequently. I personally wore them a lot. And so I think people just dislike them because of the fact that, despite the fact that they do have a lot of pockets and you can carry a lot of stuff in them, people don't often utilize all the pockets like they probably should. And if you did utilize them, they are. And if you did use them like you should, though, I will say it gets uncomfortable after a while. Because I remember putting something in one of the lower pockets and was walking around.
Was it a jellyfish?
Like, hey, this is just banging into. It was banging into my knee. It banged into my knee so much that I was like, I have to take this out. So I mean, it's more for function, not fashion. So I think that's why people dislike them so much. But and I think they also kind of got the reputation of it's the laziest of bros that wear them. It's like you associate the cargo pant with just the plain white tank top and conga shell necklace. It's like, ew, who are you?
Who is this guy? Well, this guy is probably carrying a sandwich, a bag of Doritos. He's cargo
bag
pants
of weed,
extraordinaire.
maybe.
maybe some weed. But I mean, I'm a cargo short advocate, I guess. Yeah, I'm a big fan of them. I mean, fanny packs seem to be very popular these days.
Which is very interesting because those things were associated with, old tourists who carried their disposable cameras and everything. So no one wanted to carry them. But then they became these very fashionable things. And don't get me wrong. When I wore my cargo shorts, I looked good in my cargo shorts. But I also, wore them in a way that, looked better than what other people would. So there's that.
That makes sense. Well,
yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah, so
you're very welcome.
So when was the last time you've held a boombox over your head outside of a lover's window?
Never.
Never.
Probably. Okay, so if I ever did, it was probably during the process of helping someone move and had to hold it up in that way. But I mean, let's be honest, who has a boombox anymore?
People that have lovers, I guess.
The true romantics.
Okay, John Cusack.
The true romantics.
John Cusack.
Yeah, John. He's the only person that has one.
Yeah. You're the last one on Earth.
I wonder if that's I wonder if that's sitting in a museum somewhere with his signature on it, because it should be.
It better be. So I guess the 2020 equivalent to that is just having your phone on speakerphone and holding it up to them.
Yeah, but can we also be honest about how annoying that is?
Oh yeah. Well, I think the best thing you can do is buy one of those Bluetooth speaker, give it to them, and then when it's in their house at 3 a.m., you start playing. You show up outside on the lawn and you connect to the Bluetooth, and then you just start jamming out it. Yeah, I think that's the 2020 version of that, and it will be in a movie someday. It's so romantic.
That could totally work, but your playlist better be fire. Because if you're waking me up at 3 in the morning, I better be yo, what is this playing right now? That's sick. Send me that playlist.
Exactly. I'm gonna roll up in a fire truck because of all the straight fire that's gonna be coming out of that.
Oh God.
Well.
Todd the Builder.
Oh.
Build me a pizza. What are you putting on it?
All right. So building you a pizza. There is going to be five different kinds of cheese, Italian cheeses, white cheeses specifically. There will be spinach. There will be bacon, and there will be chicken. That's my pizza right there.
That is interesting.
That sounds like every meal I eat except on a pizza. So that's much better. Mine's the bacon too.
Yeah. Now that sounds pretty good. Man, what about you, Michael? What kind of pizza would you build?
Oh man,
we're gonna make this.
Who's got the best pizza? Let's see. I don't know if I'm doing 5 cheeses. I'll do a good 2 to 3 cheeses, but with the mozzarella being the heavy base.
Yes,
I'll do some pepperoni and like triple, quadruple pepperoni on that. Like there's overlapping and you can't see the cheese at this point. And then a little bit of bacon. I mean, that's just get that second meat on there, and that's just kind of keep it simple. That's my go.
Living that 2 meat.
All right.
Yeah,
I would go. All right, bread. All right, bread. What are we putting on top of you?
This is bread's specialty. I would start out with
cauliflower crust.
A nice cauliflower crust for my keto folks out there watching the carb intake.
Hey.
No, I did that for a while. Actually, my keto pizza was me melting like a ridiculous amount of cheese in the oven and then putting pepperonis on top of it.
That was
it. It was actually really good.
God.
Yeah,
no sauce.
But I guess a real life person's a pizza would be cheese. I'm a big cheese fan. I would just do I don't know, whatever regular cheese. Pepperonis. I like green peppers. I like
cheese?
mushrooms. Like you just walk up to the store and you're like, let me get some regular cheese. They're like, this cheese? I'm like, yeah. And then I take it home.
Are we talking like Kraft singles here? Like American cheese? Like what are we talking?
We're talking about just regular cheese, man. Just the reg. That's
okay. So I challenge you to record yourself going into a grocery store, going to the cheese section, and telling them you want regular cheese, and see what they give you.
Yeah,
I have to know.
I
have to know what is regular cheese.
We'll find this out. I will post this on the Instagram. I'll shoot it to you.
Please.
We're going live after this. Going to the grocery store.
Yeah, so the typical regular cheese, some pepperoni, green pepper, mushrooms, onions. I like red onions. I'm a big Supreme pizza guy. So
okay,
both of yours sounded very fancy. Mine is stuffed crust from Pizza Hut down the street. So
yeah, I am like the pickiest eater.
I'm a simple man.
Every time someone would give me like Supreme pizza, I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? I can't eat
What is this garbage?
No.
There's no spinach on this.
I would drive my family crazy picking off every single thing on that thing that I just would not eat. Peppers. I'm allergic to red onions. And then mushrooms. Oh. No,
I would just
not a mushroom guy.
I would have just got you a plop of dough and threw it on the ground. I'm like, here's your pizza.
Evil.
Oh, geez, Brad.
I would have never done that. No. And I would have gave you some regular cheese as well. Just because I'm a courteous man.
Cheese. Okay. All right. Okay. Here's my next question. Here's my next question about the regular cheese. What color is it?
It's like the
cheese color.
Yeah, it's like it's not yellow, but it's not like dark white. Dark white? Is that a color?
What? Bright white?
It's not dark yellow or bright white. It's like it's right in the gooch.
Okay, so I think I figured it out. I think I figured out what your cheese is. Your cheese is one of 2 cheeses. It's either Munster or it's Colby Jack.
Ooh, you're a monster.
No, it's like the shredded Colby Jack. Let's go with that. I've never shredded Colby Jack.
So Colby Jack is regular cheese, everyone. Regular cheese. You heard it here first on the Toddcast. Regular cheese is
breaking
Colby
news.
Jack.
Well, this is an excellent segue into our first ever
Wrong answers only.
Yeah, wrong answers only for these next few questions, Todd. Okay.
All right.
So finish the nursery rhyme for us. Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Continue on. Wrong answers only.
all the king's horsemen and all the king's men couldn't come to his rescue because they died trying to play chess. I don't know.
Oh, I love this segment already.
The classic chess-related death.
Yeah, the dueling to the death.
All right.
Like they just played for so long that they eventually withered away.
Yes.
Checkmate. Yeah.
Check.
All right. Describe the plot of the Santa Claus. You know, the movie with Tim Allen.
Oh, okay. So The Santa Claus is a film about a guy who, hates Christmas, and because of it, he has been cursed by the Christmas witch, and puts on 180 pounds for no reason. And he is like, what's this? I put on 180 pounds and I aged, 20 years. Great. And so then he goes into town where he meets Tiny Tim, and, he's like, hey, so I got this bag of coal here. Do you want that? Like, I understand you all are poor here and you don't have heat. So like, you can put it in your chimney and start a fire. And so he gives it to him. And the next day, Tiny Tim comes and he's like, please, I want some more. And he's like, well, you get nothing. So he says, no, you get nothing because I'm retiring because I don't like this Christmas nonsense. And the end.
Oh, that's
I love that
how
movie.
many Oscars did that movie win?
It won one, but it was like in like the cinematography category, so no one like saw that speech.
Dang.
Well, sounds like a solid one.
Tiny Tim. Please, sir, can I have some more? No.
Oliver
All right,
Twist.
yeah.
Shout out.
I love
Shout out
that
to O
movie, though.
Twist.
Yeah, man. All right, so
Yeah.
finish this line. Speak
Okay.
now or forever hold your...
Farts.
Oh,
That would be uncomfortable.
All
That's.
right.
I mean, I think we can all agree that holding those are not fun.
forever.
And eventually
Yeah.
you die.
So speak.
So I mean,
Yeah.
there's that.
I'd be speaking.
So you've just written your own freaking death sentence there.
Yes.
Goodness.
oh,
All right. Well,
It was the first thing that popped in my head. I didn't know where else to take it. So.
no, that was
this is beautiful. And
that was a great
Yes.
job.
yeah, I'm pulling this out of prod, Todd, and on to the next one.
That's odd, Todd.
Two truths and one lie time. Are you ready?
Okay. I am ready. Yes.
Let's hear it.
Okay. So
Let's do this.
two truths, one lie. My first response is this striped tank top. I made this myself. I sewed it myself. When I was a little kid, I had a pet iguana that I named Charlie. He lives a really fun, loving life. And last one, I have never taken a driver's test.
All right, so he's sewed his tank top, which is fire. He
That's very solid.
had a pet iguana named Charlie that lived a wonderful life. A lot of detail there, a lot of explanation. You know, sometimes they say
Yeah.
the lie gets explained, right? And the last one, wow, I forgot it by the time I got to the.
He's never
I've
taken a
never
driver's
taken
test, man.
Oh, never taken a driver's test.
Goodness. Trying to focus on the lizard stories over here.
The iguana.
No, iguana. Sorry, Charlie. That's a nice tank top.
I know.
Too nice for you to sew. Hashtag insult. Hashtag lie.
I think he's got.
I'm
those
rolling.
skills.
I'm rolling with the lie.
So you're rolling with the tank top.
Oh yeah,
you're
I'm
rolling with
locking
the tank
in.
top. Okay.
Let's
Okay.
see.
So
And
Michael, what's your answer?
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. I'm not buying that iguana, dude. Charlie. No.
No.
Or it's either like he
better-
lived a really bad life, and that's like part of the lie. And you're just this dude named Charlie. Just poor iguana's life sucked.
Yeah.
And that's the detail. That's the lie. I don't know. I'm not buying the iguana. Locking in. There we go.
Locked in. All right. So the lie is that I had a pet iguana.
Let's go.
And I'm also glad that you really appreciate this tank top. But yes, I did sew this myself. I'm very proud
believed you
of this
could do
tank
it.
top.
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I
knew
secretly
you
believed-
had those skills.
I believed, but also I wanted to believe that you had this iguana that lived a great life.
No, I did not. I did.
This was
I
more
did
about
at one
Charlie
point.
than it was about anything else.
So I did at one point have a pet snake who I named India. That was a reality, but not an iguana. No. But yeah, the tank top I made, and no, I've never taken a driver's test before. So yeah.
Wow.
Well, we will be contacting you to make some Toddcast tank tops.
Yes.
Done.
Perfect. All right, so I'm pretty upset about Charlie. The non-existent iguana.
He's not real. He's not real.
I know. I was hoping he was. Seemed like a good dude.
Man.
Sorry.
Well, yeah. Thanks
be.
for playing 2 Truths, 1 Lie. And sorry, Brad, about your luck there.
In Todd, we trust.
All right, in Todd we trust. So this is your time to give the listeners or the Todd Squad one piece of advice, a little bit of wisdom. What you got?
Okay, so I would say my biggest piece of advice is one that I have lived by for all my 34 years, which is never allow yourself to be forced into a box. I truly believe that your identity is not so much shaped by the things that you just so happen to be. And I think that has been such an important aspect in my life, throughout my entire life, really. Everyone, I think, tried to make me into this person who they could understand and who they could relate to. But that wasn't always an option, just because I couldn't fit into a box and I refused to put myself in one. And you can call it rebellion if you want to, but ultimately I've always, stayed true to who I've always been. And I think that it's very important that that be something that you do and you live your life by. So, just as just a few examples, being male, but also being feminine. I was never afraid of the feminine aspects of who I am as a person. There's also, not being, a religious person, not being, heterosexual, if you will. Have always, everyone has always expected me to be a certain way and to be something and be someone that was relatable to themselves. And I understand wanting to have connection with people, but I think it's always important to remember that sometimes it's the differences in who we all are that sort of bring us all together. And, my best friend and I, he and I could not be any more different from each other. Like I honestly don't think that we have anything in common besides like the generic things like, we both like movies, we both like music, we both like food, like all the things that everyone likes. But when you break down all the details of like, what kinds of movies do you like? What kinds of music do you like? I mean, we couldn't be any more different from one another. But because of how different we were from each other, we got to learn so much about each other. And it allowed us to really sort of explore other people and other facets of our own personality, because we learned from each other, about, being respectful to other human beings, but also being accepting of other human beings as well. And so I think it seems very generic to say, oh, just be yourself. I think that being yourself is sometimes one of the hardest things to do in the world, especially when you have so many different boxes of conformity and when when you belong to any sort of culture, if you will, feeling the pressure to wanting to live within the confines of whatever being a part of a certain culture means, it's confining, and I think that it's better to really explore yourself and don't be afraid to live inside your own head either for a little while too. And it can feel lonely sometimes, but I promise, like, the end result is so wonderful because in the end you just feel free. And, going back to what I was saying before, towards the middle of the podcast about how, questions about my name always led up to other questions about other things, I think that's another thing. A lot of people, they think about what their names mean, and they think about the names that they want to give their children, and they want to give them these names because, it means like king, or it means royalty, or it means beautiful and all this stuff. And that's how they want to see their children and how they want to raise them to be. And for me, obviously, the fox, I mean, like, that doesn't really say much or anything like that. However, it's still one of those things where I wanted to define for myself who I am and who I was going to be, especially considering the fact that it was something that has been called into question so many different times and in so many different ways. And ultimately, my name might mean the fox or fox-like, but for me, Todd equals freedom. And I've not felt any more free in my life up until this point, and that is something that I really enjoy. And really, I felt sort of free even during the times that I did feel sort of lonely and isolated, but it was only because of the fact that I refused to conform to anything that I was ever expected to be. So, I guess that would be my sage advice for everyone in the world, whether your name is Todd or whether your name is Michael or Fred. I would say just stay true to who you are at all times, and even when you're afraid, don't be afraid to be afraid. Don't be afraid to not be okay. Don't be afraid to be happy. And also. And maybe this fits in with all of this. Don't let happiness ever be a goal, because you will never reach it. I live my life by the motto that I am content, because when you are content, it allows so much room for all of the things that life is comprised of. Life is, there's going to be sadness. There's going to be happy. There are going to be times where you're angry. There's going to be times where you're confused about a lot of different things. But I think that is what the beauty of life is. And as long as you're content with who you are and with where you are in life, nothing can ever bring you down. And I think that is the most important part of living life. Don't let happiness be the goal, because happiness is really a journey that has no end. Or if there is an end, it ends when you die. And it's better to embrace all parts of the things that you experience and the things that you feel than it is to, try to reach for, every single imaginable goal. I mean, like, because if happiness for you is wealth, you're going to be unhappy, because you can be wealthy and you'll still want more, and it's better to just live your life and I guess the goal should be rather than the goal being something that you can see, let the goal be, I want to get to a point in my life where I am comfortable with who I am, and I am comfortable with the people who are a part of my life, and I am comfortable and content with all of the decisions that I've made in my life that have led me to this point. So that's it. That's my advice.
There we go. Hey,
good
very
sage
solid
advice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Embrace yourself. And don't let happiness be the end goal, right? I mean, I think we get that equation backwards so much. We say, once I get this, then I'll be happy. Once I get that job, once I get the promotion, then I'll be happy. But
yeah,
I mean,
or it'll be
that's an uphill battle.
I'll be happy. Yeah, or it'll be a situation where you'll even say, "Oh, if I get this, then I'll be happy," and then you get it, and then you are happy, and oh, okay, well then if I get this, I'll be even happier. And it's like, how many levels of happiness do you have to feel before? Because then once you feel that that's what it's going to be, then the moment that you have that one letdown, that's the one thing that brings you down completely. You have to accept that sometimes the answer from life is no.